Egypt, this incredible manifestation of God's power. They saw God part the Red Sea and they walked through on dry ground. They saw the pillar of fire. They saw the pillar of smoke. They had manna raining down from heaven. Miracle after miracle. And they even saw the very manifestation of God up on top of Mount Sinai. They had every reason to believe. Every reason. And yet they would still not believe. They continued to be obstinate and say, no, I don't care what you show me. I'm not going to believe. And the same thing happened when God sent His Son to this world to teach us. And yet the people of that generation were not convinced no matter what. It didn't matter what God did. It didn't matter what Jesus did to prove Himself. If He walked on water, if He multiplied bread, if He healed the sick, if He sight to the blind, if He cleansed the leper, and even raised the dead. I'm still not going to believe it. I mean, if you won't believe all of those things, what will you believe? And you recall the rich man and Lazarus, when the rich man dies, and he goes to that awful place, and he says, Father Abraham, send somebody from the dead to go back and warn my brothers of this terrible place. And Abraham says, they have Moses and the prophets. They won't believe them. Even if someone should rise from the dead, they will not believe. So it's not one more sign that we need. It's not just one more incredible miracle that's going to put us over the top. We have examples of people that had miracle after miracle, sign after sign, and every reason to believe in the supernatural. And yet they hardened their hearts. But on the other hand, Jesus says no sign will be given to it except the sign of Jonah. Because just as Jonah became a sign to the people of Nineveh, so the Son of Man will be a sign to this generation. Let's think about Jonah for a second. Jonah, the unwilling prophet. Hey, Jonah, I got a job for you. Go to Nineveh. Yeah, okay. Just a second, Lord. And he hops on the first ship going the exact opposite direction. Why would he do that? The Ninevites, also known as the Assyrians, were a wicked people. Ooh, I mean, they will give you nightmares. They're sort of like Freddy Krueger meets Jason, kind of all that weird stuff. Like really nasty. I remember reading some reports, I won't share them with you, in just my studies, and I'm like, ew, they were gruesome. They thought of new ways to kill people. Like really painful ways. And you can understand why Jonah would want to go the other direction. These were the ultimate bad guys. They're not like cool mafia kind of guys. They were just like evil, malicious.
When was this?
And so of course Jonah would go the other direction. Who wants these guys to get saved? And yet, we know the story, he gets swallowed by a fish. It is quite likely that while Jonah was in the fish, he may have gotten bleached because of the acids. And so when he got spit up by that whale, he might have looked rather different. That's possible. And perhaps the story spread. We don't know exactly. We can only speculate a little bit. But he gets to Nineveh. And what's his message? In 40 days, you guys are all dead. It doesn't say repent. It doesn't say, maybe God will be nice to you. He just says you're dead in 40 days. And the Ninevites don't ask for a sign. They don't ask for a miracle. They don't ask for proof. Show me your credentials. Who are you? Why should I believe you? No, all they know is this prophet shows up. Maybe they know he got swallowed by a fish. Maybe they don't. We really don't know any more of the story. But they believed just by his preaching. And they repented. From the king all the way down to even the animals were covered with sackcloth. Because they were in that kind of a state of mind to repent. They changed their opinion. So they didn't need another sign because they already believed in the supernatural. They already believed that there were gods and powers and principalities. And out here, they're told that the God of heaven and earth is going to destroy them. Well, we better get right. Sometimes it's the non-believers. Sometimes it's the ones who serve the other God, they seem to have more spirituality than sometimes us Christians. That they don't take, we don't always take God's word seriously. I remember hearing about a coven back in Orange County, California, that had done different kind of seances and whatnot against Calvary Chapel Costa Mesa because they wanted to curse and hex the church. And I thought that's interesting. These people are taking their God very, very seriously. They're taking words very seriously. They're believing in the power of Satan. Now, it's faith ill-placed for sure, but faith nevertheless. And here, the very people who had every reason to believe, they saw Jesus walk, they heard him teach, they saw the miracles, and they heard again and again and again. Remember after Jesus raised Lazarus from the dead, and there were some Pharisees there who saw this, and yet were they convinced, or they were like, whoa, this guy has been dead in the tomb for 4 days. Now, why is 4 days so significant? Because they believed that the spirit would kind of hover around the body for about 3 days. And if you were in the tomb for 4 days, you were seriously dead. All right, you were like not just mostly dead, but completely dead. And your spirit had already departed and would not come back to your body. I mean, today, if somebody were dead for 4 days, you'd be like, and then they go back to life. That's unheard of. We've heard of people coming back after an hour, 2 hours. Those kind of things happen. Those are amazing. But for 4 days, dead, and he stinketh, Lord, right? That famous line there. And so, even when Jesus did that, they were not convinced. The application for us is that we need to be careful. Because it's so easy to not see the good things in our lives that God is doing. And to ignore what He's done. To ignore the blessings that He's given. Sometimes we have miracle after miracle after miracle, and yet because of our mindset, we're not really prepared to see them. We just don't see what God has already done for us. So, as the song goes, count your blessings, count them one by one, count your blessings, and see what God has done. Because He has done good things. And sometimes when we take a step back and say, well, what has God done? Start listing those things, thinking about your answered prayer. Oh yeah, and He did that, And all these things, we have reason to be thankful and to say, wow, God is a God of miracles. But sometimes just because of our perspective, we won't necessarily see it. Now, Jesus uses the sign of Jonah. So He says that the only sign you guys look at is the sign of Jonah. That almost certainly, as far as we can tell, is a reference to Jonah being in the fish for 3 days, 3 nights. 3 days and 3 nights. And that will be the sign that will be given to that particular generation. They're not going to get anything else except the sign of Jonah. 3 days and 3 nights. Which does raise an interesting question of how many days was Jesus in the tomb? If we go from Friday until Sunday, as traditionally thought, you just don't come up with 3 days and 3 nights. So I think there's a real problem with that. It doesn't change the faith for a lot of people, but I think if for those who are thinking mathematically, they're going to say, wait a second, this doesn't make any sense. And no matter how you try to change the numbers, you cannot get 3 days if you start on Friday morning. And so the more than likely scenario is that he was crucified on Thursday and not on Friday. So he would have been executed Friday, Saturday, and then Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and then Saturday evening after the sun had gone down, it was already dark, I think the last night, the third night. Doesn't have to be in there for 72 hours necessarily, but he definitely has to be the equivalent of 3 days and 3 nights. So that's how I would see that. That it was more of a probably a Thursday crucifixion. Jonah may have died in the fish. As he's going there in Jonah chapter 2, he talks about how he went down to Sheol, and then God then brought him back. So again, there may have been some allusion to that. Jesus continues in verse 31 that the queen of the south will stand up to the judgment and condemn the people living today, because she came from the ends of the earth to hear the wisdom of Solomon. But look, something greater than Solomon is here. The men of Nineveh will stand up at the judgment and condemn the people living today, because they repented at the preaching of Jonah. But look, something greater than Jonah is here. So the queen of Sheba, she heard the report, but she didn't believe it until she saw it with her own eyes. She came and she saw the glory of Solomon's kingdom. And she's like, it's incredible. In fact, it's better than what I heard. The reports are absolutely true. And yet Jesus is saying, somebody greater is here. The men of Nineveh are going to stand up. They're going to condemn the people today. Can you turn it down just a little bit? It's kind of hot. They're going to condemn you guys because you had every reason to believe, and you would not believe. I want to be sure that I'm not one of those people that had reasons to believe, and yet because of the hardness of my heart, because of the skepticism that can so easily come in, I just don't believe God. I don't take Him at His word. Verse 33. No one lights a lamp and puts it in a hiding place or under a basket or on a lampstand, so that those who enter may see its light. Your eye is the lamp of your body. When your eye is healthy, your whole body is full of light. But when it's evil, your body is full of darkness. Therefore, be careful that the light in you isn't darkness. Now, if your whole body is full of light, no part of it is in darkness. It will be as full of light as when a lamp gives you light with its rays. The light of the body. So the eye is the lamp of the body. There's something called a good eye and something known as an evil eye. And in Hebrew, sometimes they call this yetzer hara, which is the evil inclination. But essentially, the basic idea of the evil eye is that, you have something. You've got a brand new car. You've got a fancy job. You've got a company that's taken over the world, whatever it may be. You've got a beautiful wife. You've got the most amazing husband. You have this great music career or something. But there's something that you have that I want. And I think it's not fair. Essentially, I'm coveting. I'm coveting you and your stuff. And so what do? I give you the eye. You know the eye. The eye, right? Yeah. Yeah. Why should you have that? I should have that. That's called the evil eye. There's this idea of a glare. You probably all felt it, right? It's just this look, and you're like, oh man, that guy, he's giving me the eye because, wait a second, I got something he wants and he's not staring me down. It could be the mother that doesn't have a child. The woman who doesn't have a husband. It could be anything that you're coveting somebody else's. That's going to this evil eye, this evil glare. And in the ancient world, they even had this idea that an eye could actually, that you could create this thing as an evil eye, it would become a separate entity. And it would actually go out and do harm. That your evil eye, you can sort of create this thing, And then it would go out, and it could destroy or kill your neighbor's child. Because, well, you don't have a child, why should she have a child? Right? I don't have a beautiful house, why should he have a beautiful house?
It says streaming live.
When this evil eye could actually go and damage of their churches. That was the evil eye. So the eye is incredibly powerful.
Like this for some reason.
And we have pride of life, the lust of the eye, the lust of the flesh, pride of life. Watch out for those things. You know, our eyes get us in so much trouble because we look, we perceive what we think is true. We perceive what that other guy has as maybe he deserves it, maybe he doesn't. And that eye is that place. It's like what's letting life into your eye, into your body. But it says if your eye is healthy, your whole body is full of life. And here's the challenge, is that when we start to look around, we start looking at other people, how do we think about them? Are we thinking, well, why should that guy have that? I know none of you guys are thinking that, but I'll just tell you what I do. I start comparing myself. I compare myself. So as a pastor, I can compare myself to a pastor. Well, I got to go
couldn't use that because it was
or he's driven $50, right? Or, he's accomplished all these things. And for you, in whatever field you're in, you might say, well, that lady, she's accomplished so much in her life, and I haven't. It's when we start to compare,
this is the one
and we
that's click right
contrast, and we start thinking that life's a competition.
You can click on anything.
This
is the one that's happening right now. It says
and the way to get around that is to stop competing, to stop comparing. We're not trying to be better than everybody. We're just trying to be the best version of me possible. That's what it is. Because if you're always trying to beat the other guy, you'll never get there. And even if you should become the top
This
of
is
the
the computer we
hill,
normally use.
it's just a matter of time before
He had to
someone
restart.
knocks you off.
He was impatient. They went
I
away.
mean, look, Bill Gates is the richest guy in the world, right? Well, you better watch out. Because Jeff Bezos
is one that's here all the time.
Right up the table.
But
and it won't be long until he's not the richest guy.
It says it's recording, though. I don't
Right?
know where it's recording.
So you may be the top, the best, in your field, and that's what gives you your self-identity.
You can choose any of these things right now. I can choose this. Right now, this isn't doing anything because there's no check mark.
Behind these other guys and these other
Right
companies
there's a check mark.
or whatever.
That's what's happening right now.
We can do better than that. Now, maybe they have a lot of these problems.
I don't know where it's going to either. Because it's not live. It says it's live, but it's not live.
Be the best dancer that you can be. Write the best songs that you can write. And not trying to compete and outdo the other person. This is all the 10th commandment. There's so much contained in the 10th commandment. It's about coveting. You shall not covet your neighbor's stuff. Don't covet your neighbor's wife. Don't covet your neighbor's house. Don't covet your neighbor's donkey or his servants or any of that stuff. And that, really, if you meditate on the 10th commandment, you'll see that all the other commandments, in my opinion, are derived from breaking that 10th commandment of coveting. What did Adam and Eve do? They coveted that fruit. Because there was something that they didn't have. Why did Cain murder Abel? Because he coveted what his brother had. It was better, somehow it wasn't right. And so that coveting caused anger, caused some kind of feeling of inequality, and then he killed his brother as a result. Why did he steal? Most of the time, maybe you're hungry. Okay, that's a good reason. But aside from those kind of things, people take what is not theirs because they feel that they're entitled to it. Heck, well, I should have that. Why should I have to work for that? I'll just keep it. It's the evil eye. all about coveting. And so if we're constantly coveting what other people have, we'll never be happy. And that will lead to all kinds of sin. It could lead to murder. It could lead to robbery. It could lead to lying. So many different areas of where coveting will get us in trouble. And of course, it could lead to adultery as well. Because we're coveting these other things. And ultimately, when we covet, what we're saying is, God, you are not sufficient. You have not provided for me. And what we're saying is, I value these other things more highly as gods than I value you. And so we're either breaking the first commandment and the second commandment and the third and fourth. Maybe that's but we're breaking all the commandments when we covet. Because we're saying it's not right, it's not enough. God hasn't given me enough. God hasn't blessed me like He should have. It's all His fault. And the way to get around that is to take responsibility for your life. Now, this idea of taking responsibility for my entire life, it hit me in the last 5 years, like, really hard. Because I was secretly blaming everybody else. I was blaming my 6th grade math teacher. Right? And I was blaming my dad. And I was blaming my mom. And I was blaming my brother. And I was blaming my next door neighbor from a long time ago. It was all their fault. It was all their fault that I'm not this far in life. It's all their fault that I don't have these kind of things. And what I realized is I had to stop that and start taking responsibility for my life. Now, it doesn't mean that everything that's happened to you is all your fault. No, it doesn't mean that. Because we live in a world where there are other people, and other people have influence on us. But despite what other people have done, it's still our responsibility to say, you know what, this is where I am. This is my situation in life. And regardless of those people, whether it's their fault or not, I'm no longer a victim. And I believe so many of us go around through life as victims. And we like to be the victim. Because when you're the victim, it's not your fault. It's somebody else's fault. I mean, and we learned it from really a master. Quote, God, it's the woman that you gave me. Had you not given me this woman, I wouldn't have done that. So it's her fault, and it's your fault. It's your fault. And what happens when we don't take responsibility, if you keep going, the trickle down, but if you go back and trickle up, you'll see that all you're blaming God. You're blaming God and you're putting other gods before the one true God. Because these other gods can do that. Had you not given me this woman, I wouldn't have done that. And I'm calling your own character into question. When you really get to the bottom of what happened, I think one reason that we like horror movies so much, we like Halloween and all these scary things, is because we can feel like the victim again. We say, oh, I'm so scared, It's not my fault because there's this bad guy out there who wants to hurt me. It's not my fault, it's his fault. We like conspiracy theories to a fault. I believe there are some conspiracies. But the danger with conspiracy theories, not that there aren't some real ones out there. I think there are. But the danger with conspiracy theories is we're always pinning the tail of blame on somebody else. It's the wrong guy. Right? It's J.P. Morgan, it's his fault. Or it's the Illuminati. Or it's them. Right? Or they out there somewhere. There was a really great Gary Larson cartoon from the far side. And they had this dark room, poorly lit. And he said, aha, this is where they are. And it was just sort of a great message of, yeah, those people. It's always the other guy's fault. So, yes, there are some conspiracies, but let's not continue to say, well, it's all their fault. If we just get rid of the Illuminati, the world will be a great place. No, it's because until each of us takes responsibility for our lives, there will always be those other guys. There will always be the bad guys out there. We have to take responsibility for our lives. Because when we do that, we discover that we're actually quite powerful. We discover that we can make choices. Adam was able to make a choice. He made the wrong choice. And then he didn't own up to his bad choice. And he just continued to put the blame on somebody else. But if we will take responsibility, first of all, stop coveting, rest, stop comparing yourself with others, stop competing with them to try to be better than those people. Be the best version of you that you can be. And you'll stop desiring your neighbor's stuff. Say, thank you, Lord, for what you have given me. Thank you for all these incredible blessings that I already possess. Thank you that I have all the riches of Christ in the heavenlies. God provides for my every need according to his riches in glory. We have to rely upon that, rest in that. Otherwise, we're going to find ourselves just like the Israelites who are with God at Mount Sinai, and yet it's not enough. They have the very best that you could possibly imagine. They're loaded with gold, with silver, with rubies, with diamonds, with all kinds of gorgeous stuff, wonderful clothing. God had them go and ask their Egyptian neighbors for their stuff. And they plundered Egypt when they did that. They weren't short on money and good stuff. And yet, despite all of that, they still were not satisfied. And they said, we need to worship these gods who brought us out of Egypt. And they missed the one true God. Because they were coveting. They had the evil eye. They weren't satisfied with the true, the genuine. And so they went after the fake, the imposter, the counterfeit. So powerful what Jesus is saying. The eye is the lamp of your body. So let's use our eyes wisely. Don't give people that devilish look. Oh, yeah? Why should you have that fancy car? Oh yeah? Still your big fancy credit card. Don't do that. Say, I thank God for what I have. And God is my supplier. If I need something, if I'm lacking something, well, wait a second. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not lack. So if there's something that I don't have, maybe I just haven't asked for it. That's a possibility. Maybe that's not something that I really should have because it's hurtful for me. Or maybe I'm missing something else. Maybe there's some other lesson that God wants me to learn from this. Or maybe I just ask and he'll get to it. Maybe it's that simple. Remember when David took Bathsheba? And then the prophet Daniel came and confronted him. And he said, you know what? All you had to do was act. If that had not been enough, I gave you all these things. And if that were not enough, I would have given you more. I would have given you more. You asked. But instead, you went and took Bathsheba, this man's wife. You killed the man. You lied about him. He coveted evil eye. He coveted what wasn't his. He led to all these different sins. It was evil. He did what God does not delight in. He did what God does not delight in. So therefore, be careful that the light in you isn't darkness. Now, if your whole body is full of light, with no part of it in darkness, it will be as full of light as when a lamp gives you light with its rays. Very powerful. Very powerful. I encourage us all to meditate on, well, don't meditate on covenant, because that never works. Never meditate on the negative thing. Meditate on the positive thing. The way to overcome coveting is not to say, Lord, help me to stop coveting. No, it's to count your blessings. Count them one by one. Lord, thank you for my beautiful one. Lord, thank you for my healthy children. Lord, thank you that I live in a nice country. Thank you for the good weather. Thank you for my car. Thank you for the fact that I have clothing. Thank you that I have kindness. And keep making your list and add to it and meditate on those things. And then if somebody cuts you off on the street, run. I'm not going to say all kinds of bad things about them. I'm just going to bless them. If your neighbor does something and it upsets you, well, I'm just going to forgive you. I didn't like what he did, but I didn't like it. Instead of keeping this resentment, harboring it, which will eventually turn into sickness, laughter is the medicine, but a broken spirit dries up the bones. It's so true. We bring these things, these calamities and sicknesses upon ourselves much of the time because of the way we are thinking. And coveting is one of those things that will make you green with envy. It'll make you sick. It will drive your bones. It will cause cancer. It does all kinds of things. Resentment, unforgiveness, they've now discovered that yes, these really do add to your poor health. So our job is to think good, happy thoughts. And really, we just need to think good, happy thoughts. Good, happy thoughts. Because our God is good. He loves us. We should be happy because He's good. He's on the throne. He cares about us. He will provide for us. Instead of going through the world saying, no, God is good. I've done that. Man, God, why haven't you? Why haven't you? It's the same thing. It's the evil eye. Why haven't you given me what the gentleman had? Why haven't you given me this? Why haven't you done that? And we're always pointing the finger and we're slandering God. We're calling into question who He is and His good character. That's what Satan did. As we saw several verses ago, that Satan was there in the beginning. He had everything he could possibly have. He was the sum total of perfection. And yet, he still wasn't happy. Because he coveted. He wanted something different. He did not want to be a servant. So, count your blessings. Find a way to help somebody, to bless somebody, to give. One way to overcome coveting is to give stuff away. 10% is a great rule of thumb, but it doesn't have to be 10%. You can't give 10%? Okay, that's fine. If you can give more, great. Doesn't have to be to the church. It can be to whoever God puts on your heart. Bless people with your money. Because when you take your money, you earn it, and you give it, what you're doing is saying, Lord, I trust you. Because I know that it's not just a one lump sum, but it's a stream that you have. There's a stream behind my house that just keeps flowing. And that's what it is with God's blessing us. It's not the Dead Sea. It's a continual flow. That God will always keep blessing and giving you what you need. And so one way to overcome the evil eye is to give. Because that way you're not holding on to your stuff to riches. You're letting it go. If He gave you this, He'll give you more. Just keep blessing others. Good ways to overcome. Let's pray. Father, thank you so much for your goodness toward us, your kindness. We recognize the evil eye, that it is so insidious, and that glare that we can give others, wanting their stuff, and forgetting that you are the one who gives all the stuff. And sometimes we just need to ask. Sometimes we shouldn't ask because it's going to hurt us. Sometimes we want to teach us something deeper. Forgive us, Lord, for coveting, Forgive us for saying that you're not good enough and that you don't provide for us. And so we thank you for all the ways that you give. We thank you for all the ways that you bless. We thank you for all the ways that you are our all in all. Help us to not be like the children of Israel who had you, the greatest gift in the whole world, and it still wasn't enough. We love you, Lord. We praise you. We thank you in Yeshua's name. Amen. Amen. You will stand. I thought we would actually do the Lord's Prayer. When Jesus was asked how to pray, well, he told his disciples, he says, whenever you pray, do like this. Now, I actually know a song. We'll do the song. Okay? Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. Amen. May the Lord watch over you and keep you. May He cause His face to shine upon you. God is so good. He loves you very much. He will take care of you. You don't need to cover it. Just ask. Ask your Father. He delights to give because He's a good, good Father. Yeshua's name, Shabbat Shalom, Shavua Tov, have a good week. Go with joy and peace.